Hello everyone and welcome to episode 24 of the Spawn Point podcast. Joining me as always is Andy and Steve, and we also have a cameo appearance of Handsome Jack. Not the real Handsome Jack, but as we like to say on the podcast, the essence of Handsome Jack. And the reason that he is here is because we recently did a Tales from the Borderlands first impressions video, and you can check that out just by clicking on an annotation of where he is right now. But this week, we are going to be talking about, but before we talk about this week, this episode is of course sponsored by Virtual Gladiators. Minecraft servers, really cheap. You can even get 10% off using the code VECTRA. And yeah, you need Minecraft servers, that's the place to go. But as Steve drinks out of that very immaculate, very effeminate cup, it's time to talk about our first topic, which is Black Friday. So the Friday that's just passed, lots of deals going on. I think it's the second time that we've done it in this country. I think last year it was done.
Did we do it last year?
Well, I saw some it wasn't as big of a deal last year, but there were some stores doing it. This was like the first time that it was like a big thing, and lots of stores were taking part and getting involved. Like, it was made much more of a bigger deal. So we're going to talk about sort of the positives and the negatives of it. Obviously, if you're in America, you're used to this sort of stuff of like people fighting over all sorts of things and violence and just the chaos. And we're going to share our thoughts about what we think about it and whether we think they should, stop doing it, what solutions we think, how they can keep doing it but make it better, all that sort of stuff. So one thing I do want to point out is there was a lot of press in the UK for a store called Asda, which got a lot of press, and got a lot of attention because they did sell, it was something like 8,000 televisions in 1 hour across the country, at midnight. But they had to have 4 stores in London which had to have police called in because there were fights, people fighting over them. Some woman, she straddled a TV to try and win it or something, or not win it, to try and, keep hold of it and take it to the till. It was just chaos because everyone, instead of going to the till and being like, can I have this? People were just grabbing them off the shelves and fighting over them. And some woman bought 3 TVs, the same TVs for herself. No idea
really
why.
Bitch.
She wouldn't need 3 TVs. 3 40-inch TVs. She doesn't need them. She just thought, it's a bargain. And I did have a discussion with my parents about this on Black Friday. And we thought the stupid thing is the rule you should have for Black Friday is don't buy stuff that you wouldn't normally buy if it wasn't on discount. So if you need to buy a microwave, for example, this is the second time I brought up microwaves in the podcast. I don't know why it pops to my head, but if you want to buy a microwave and you really need to buy one, then yeah, get it in a discount because you're going to buy one anyway. But if there's something like, I don't know, a
hairbrush.
Okay, maybe. Okay, I've got a perfect example. Say there's a hair straighteners, like some really expensive hair straighteners, and Steve says, I'm going to buy myself some hair straighteners. And me and you, Andy, we look at him and we're like, Steve, you need to have hair to straighten.
But he might be buying it for his.
Okay, but let's say he's buying it for himself. And he goes, it's such a bargain, like, I need to buy it. And it's like, well, would you buy it if it was full price? Well, no, I'd never buy that. And that's what people tend to be doing on this day.
I'm going to liken this to the Steam sales.
Okay. It's not as chaotic.
Like, no, but it's the same mentality. Like, oh my god, this game is so cheap, I need to buy it, never fucking play it.
Yeah.
That is exactly
I did that
what
last
it is.
year. But there are some... I can see more negatives than positives personally. Obviously, the obvious positive things are you're going to get really big discounts and stuff. You're going to save a lot of money. If you're somebody who can't usually afford things like TVs or tablets and they've got massive price cuts of like 50% or more, then now you have a chance to actually get that. Or if you want to get Christmas presents for really cheap for people, then you can do that and you'll save a lot of money. Now, that's basically where I see the positives ending. I see a lot of negatives, and I don't know about you guys, but just some of my negatives before I kind of open up to both of you, is the fact that the police had to be called in. I saw quite a few videos which were quite depressing of people just like pushing people over, fighting over there was 2 women fighting over underwear, for God's sake. There was...
well, hang on. Were they hot?
I don't think they were. But there was some woman got pushed over by some guy who was trying to get a TV off of her. People pushing in queues. Some chav was trying to like throw people out of the queue to get to the front.
Get out the way.
Yeah, and basically people just losing their morals and just had no respect for other people. But I wanted to know what you guys thought about this Black Friday nonsense. Is it worth it? What do you think?
You know the town I live in, it's very, very small, but the next town over me, which is called Trowbridge, it's quite big. You've got a 24-hour Tesco. The police were called there numerous times. There was a child, I don't know what a child, a 10-year-old, I think, was in the queue with his parents. They were running to go and get some stuff.
That's not the environment for a 10-year-old.
No, I know. I
I
understand.
Would you like to get stampeded to death today, little Jimmy?
Happened.
Yes.
He got pushed to the floor, and he got trampled on and stampeded. And everyone was just going over the top of him. They didn't stop or anything. The police got called, and
and they trampled him, and
then the police trampled him.
There was people falling over. I saw a lot of that in the supermarkets. Like,
I mean, this is. Were either of you in the sort of ruckus that was Eurogamer last year when they gave away a copy of Call of Duty to the first 100 people to the booth?
No, we were planning to, but then by the time we got into Eurogamer, it was like 2 PM, so we didn't have any of that nonsense.
I mean, if anyone's watching and was part of that, that's essentially what has been happening on Black Friday, and it's just stupid. I mean, the funny thing is, if you go online, then you can find the same deals, or maybe even better in some cases.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. But even then, like, do you know what the funniest thing is? Because I did get something for... This is another thing I want to sort of discuss. I did get something that was on a Black Friday offer. But I didn't go in at midnight. I didn't queue up till, like, all day or something on a Thursday. I didn't fight people. I went in Friday afternoon. I walked into PC World, got a new TV because my old one wasn't working anymore.
Did you get some trainers as well?
Trainers?
Yeah.
Why?
The riots back when people were stealing TVs and trainers.
Oh, right. No, I can't say I did that. But, I basically just walked in. There wasn't that many people, to be honest. Curry's Digital was a lot busier. And this was like one of those big, superstore size ones. And just walked in, picked up a TV, took it to the till. That was done. I didn't get in any fights. The queue was about 15 people. Really? That's not many people queuing up. Oh yeah, probably. But yeah, no, and I got a better TV than the one these people were fighting over. They're fighting over one Polaroid 40-inch TV, not even knowing what the specifications are. The quality, like the processing rate is like 50 hertz or something. Hasn't got smart TV. Not even good picture quality, and people don't even know the specs of it, and it's like, 140 quid. Oh, well, it's a big TV, it's 40-inch, let's fight over it, I got a better one. I got for, roughly £200. I got a Panasonic Viera, same size, much better quality, and, it was a lot clearer. And I didn't have to get in any battles over it, really. But did either of you pick anything up with the deals, or?
No. I did
I'm sure you did, Steve, didn't you? You bought something because we were talking on Friday, and you said you got like what was it you got though? It was like a license plate or something, or something for your car.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you just reminded me. Yeah, but I didn't go into a store. I did it all online. So I basically I bought my car. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people going, "Oh, that's Steve." Like, for instance,
it's just a little. Is it like some sort of yellow car? Like the one from the In-Betweeners with the red door.
Oh, yeah. No. Basically, I went onto this website because I wanted to change my number plate because it was a little bit of a weird number plate. So I picked my personal number plate with my initials and my date of birth, the numbers, and then my missus' numbers of her date of birth. And it was originally £400.
So it said S 41.
You wait.
That's how old you are, right?
No.
Ah.
So anyway, it was
Sorry.
originally £400, and I got it for, I think it was 100 and something.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But the only thing is, I bought that number plate, but I still have to register it with DVLA. They don't do Black Friday deals, so yeah.
What about you,
Wait.
Andy?
I
anything?
I worked on Friday. I was like, you know what? The last thing I want to do is go out on a Friday, on Black Friday, and go through the shops. I did go out on Saturday.
Yeah. Although technically, this is the weird thing. Apparently, there was like in some places, Black Friday, then you had like Green Saturday or something, and Green Sunday.
Yeah, it's now Cyber Monday as well.
And then it's like there's Black Friday. Then in some stores are doing Green Saturday and Green Sunday, and then Cyber Monday. It's like, why not just call it Black Weekend?
Because I have no idea what was the reasoning behind Green Saturday and Sunday.
It's just basically an extension
where have they picked that colour from?
I don't know.
You know why it's called Black Friday, don't you?
I have no idea. All I know is that it's the day after Thanksgiving, and it's the week of people's last time they get paid before Christmas. That's all I know.
So the history goes that the reason it's called Black Friday is because that's the day in the year where most of the shops in America go from being in the red to actually making a profit, so they're in the black, which is why it's called Black Friday. So picking an arbitrary colour like green,
green
doesn't make
any sense. It's like, let's just have pink Tuesdays.
Let's call it Pokemon Red Sunday.
Yeah, but did you get anything? Let's just kind of like say it's a 4-day weekend deal type thing, because it really is. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Did you get anything on any of those days? Anything discount prices?
No. I did go out and get a Wii U at the weekends. But that was just hey, it's a Saturday and I want to get a Wii U, and
it was a regular price.
It was a regular price. There wasn't anywhere doing any discounts, and my God, was it a mistake going out to get it? I live in Birmingham, so there's a shopping centre called the Bullring, and it just looked like a sea of people there. I was like, fuck, why did I do this? And I got there and I was like, well, I'm here now. I may as well get it, seeing as I've come all this way. And then the queue was going from the tills all the way to the doors, which has to be about 25 meters or something, and then all the way back down to the till again.
Now, one thing, having experience going to sort of, because with Asda and all of them, they had like a midnight opening thing. What I got to say is interesting. When you go to a midnight opening for a game, for example, and I've done it every year for like the last 5 years, or 4 years, there's never any kind of, everyone's very cooperative, everyone queues up, everyone's very sensible, there's no kind of fights, no arguments, nobody pushing in, nobody kind of getting violent. But with Asda, like, there was always people, and it was just like people pushing people over, and it was just like a jungle. It was insane.
Yeah, but you know why that is, though? It's because with a midnight game release, it's generally like, hey, people pre-order them, and it's I didn't pre-order, and I still got a copy. So. But generally, people pre-order it, so it's like, well, I know there's going to be a copy there, so there's no need for me to like get my elbows out and beat the shit out of someone and get them on the ground. Not that I'm condoning that at all.
Fight to the
whereas like places with Asda, you're saying that they were giving away a certain amount of things at a discount, and people are like, oh my God, I need this in my life. I don't care what it is. I just need to beat everyone else and get it and buy it before they can.
But the thing is, just like with me buying a TV on a deal, like I didn't go to the Asda and do any of that, like I explained on PC World. But I got one because I needed one. It was just an opportune time. I was like, I've been meaning to get a new TV for about 6 months because the built-in Freeview stuff doesn't work. Like, you have to rescan the channels every time you turn it on, which takes a long time. And also sometimes the screen would burn out, and it was just, I'd had it for like 7 years. And it was just not working anymore. So I kind of put it up with it for 6 months. I was like, I really need to get a new TV. And I was, oh, Black Friday's coming up. And so I was like, this is the opportune moment for me. And that's why it goes back to me saying about, if you need to get something, then you were planning to get it anyway, regardless of a discount, then buy it. And that's what I did. And that's why I think my decision to buy that was actually a sensible one, rather than going, well, we've already got a really big TV, but oh, hey, we're saving money, but you're not really saving money on something because you wouldn't have spent that money to buy it in the first place anyway. So really, you're wasting money because, that's the ironic thing. If you're buying a TV that's a cheap price and you're going, oh, I'm saving loads of money though. Well, you're not, because you're wasting money because you wouldn't have bought that TV in the first place if it wasn't for the discount.
I got something quite funny actually. Just reading a text actually from one of my mates over the weekend.
Yeah.
There was in Tesco's, people were flooding the store like upstairs because they were doing Black Friday deals on those meat cutters that you cut beef up with, and they're electric. People were going and flooding to get these meat cutters. There were
some ridiculous things. I mean, that's the thing. Fighting over like stuff like underwear. Like there was a Black Friday deal for an electric toothbrush. Like, I mean, how some of this stuff is so.
I can't believe it. Meat cutters.
It's like, oh my god, let's all fight over something really sharp so we can push each other into the blaze and cut each other up.
But maybe they were just buying it so they could actually fend off for the rest of the discounts. Like,
but get out of my way.
But yeah.
Oh shit! It's come out of the plug socket. Hang on a second.
Extension lead. Yeah. Black Friday deal.
But do you think overall? Do you think that the good outweighs the bad, or the bad outweighs the good? And do you think we should be doing it? Do you think we should carry on doing it every year? And if you do you think do you think there's a way to do Black Friday deals, but not have it be so violent and all? It's
the same with any other country, like America. But I just don't think that we're used to it.
No,
but have you seen how bad it is in America?
It's right. When you're done here, go and have a look at Jesse Cox Explains Black Friday, and just look at some of the stuff on that. There's people camping out for days to get deals.
I'd say it's probably worse.
Stupid.
But like, the funny thing about our country is usually everyone's like, you must queue, and we have like this formality of like queuing, rather than America, which is always like, every man for himself a lot of the time. And that kind of got thrown out the window with the Black Friday. It was like, yeah, we're not British anymore, we're not English, we're just, what's a queue, But, I mean, I do see some solution. I do see, if you just have all these Black Friday deals, it's kind of similar to Steam sales, just have it all online, don't have any of the in-store stuff. Or, if you are going to have it in-store, very simple solution, keep all of the stock behind the till, not for people to grab. Then people have an incentive to queue.
That would be nightmare.
But if you jump the queue, the person at a till can say, well, I'm not going to serve you because clearly you've jumped the till here. So people...
It wouldn't matter. That escalating.
The cashier would be over the till.
I can really see that escalating. What do you mean? I've been queuing up here for 3 hours to get this TV.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have... People couldn't fight over it as much because you'd purchase it. So who owns it? It's like, well, who actually paid for it? Who has the receipt?
It wouldn't matter. It'd be like, oh, you, bang, like, give me that TV. Like, or, give me that TV.
Yeah, but that could happen anyway. If you've got a TV and someone goes, oh, I want that. But like,
yeah, but
it wouldn't be worse because people who have the stock right there, they're fighting over it because neither one of them have paid for it yet, It's about, I'm going to get it and pay for it.
I have a solution. Right? Leave, like you said, the stuff behind the till. When people start going mental, those water sprayer things? Just spray them. That'll sort them out. They'll calm down then.
Just hire some sort of security people just to manage queues. Have stuff behind the tills. Don't, I don't know, there's better ways to organise it if you are going to do in-store stuff. But for the most part, do stuff online, I'd say.
I mean, I feel like if they didn't go, hey, we've got 100 of these TVs that are going to be 10% of the price or something stupid like that, and just go, all of our TVs are going to be exactly the same price. It doesn't matter what time you get here. They're going to be there. They're going to be that price. If everyone wants one. I suppose if they run out of stock, then it's going to be an issue, but
what you do, and they need to take a leaf out of the book for game midnight openings, where you allow a certain number of people in, and then you cut off a point and say, okay, wait, because these people are going to go through. You don't let everybody in at once. Like, when I've gone to a midnight opening at game for, like, a launch for a game, they go, okay, this many people go in, and then they cut you off. And the person who cuts you off is, could easily knock me out. Like, they're obviously quite, they're quite toned up. And the reason being, they don't want people to push. So, like, as long as you've just got enough staff that can manage that, just have people like a cut-off point where it's like, okay, 20 people have gone in. Okay, well, depending how big the store is. Okay, once they've come out, once they've, and it's like, once they've done their order and they come back, there's more people, floodgates, basically. Just have that. But with people, because it basically is like a human flood.
I just don't see that working in any way, shape, or form.
If you've got some real big hench security guys, they ain't going to be pushing. I wouldn't want to push past a hench security guy.
Do you think that it is possible to continue doing it just in certain forms? Do you think that even online, you should just stop doing it altogether, like just nothing at all?
I'm with you. Online works quite well because that way it's fastest finger to click on it, get it in their basket, and then if they don't, hey, there's no one for them to start a fight with or have a fight over the stock. You just weren't there quick enough. So, yeah, chin up.
Or the easiest solution is just make everything so cheap and keep it cheap.
Yeah, but they wouldn't make a profit.
Well, if they lowered the price to make the stuff, they would. I don't know.
That's a very simple kind of world.
Excuse me, China. Can you make it cheaper so we can sell it cheaper to give people better value for money?
Yeah, sell it for cheaper, but not sacrifice the quality of the product. Okay, yeah, because, Oh, hang on. A pig's just flown over there.
Oh.
It's come over here. There it is.
Oh, it's here now.
But moving on from Black Friday to Battlefield Hardline. Now, Andy and Steve, both of you played this at EGX. And you said it felt very kind of cops and robberish. It felt a lot more. The feel of the game was a lot better than it was when the beta came out. Which admittedly I played, and it did feel a little bit like just, it felt very similar to the other ones. It didn't feel that kind of, as much as it should have, kind of cops versus robbers feel. But these
I would like to say it didn't completely feel like cops versus robbers. There were still issues like the particular map that we played. It was the cops and robbers had to get a vehicle and hold on to it, whereas you would have thought, hey, if you were a cop, you would be stopping the robbers from getting this vehicle. You wouldn't be going around and hotwiring your own vehicles. So there are still some issues with it.
Yeah,
but
things here and there. But I'm assuming this is just for from what I know of, this is just the single player stuff. But the campaign is nothing like, forget everything that you thought about Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, Bad Company games, all of the ones before that. Forget what the campaign's been like with high explosions, blockbuster, like run and gun, like, all that kind of stuff. This is more kind of stealth based. There's obviously you play against a character who is a cop who, I think in some instances you have to kind of go undercover as a criminal, like pretend to kind of, get in with the criminals. But you have some gadgets, or like equipment, should I say, that isn't usually seen in Battlefield games. So you've got a pistol, a taser.
You've got a pistol. We've never seen this in a Battlefield game before.
Obviously that is one, but like basically most of the time you have a pistol as your only kind of lethal weapon, shall we say. Taser's fairly lethal still, but it's classed as a non-lethal approach to taking someone out. So you've got a pistol, a taser, and a badge. And you're sort of sneaking around. I presume you can pick up other guns as well. Maybe you can't, but you also have a scanner where you can kind of like tag enemies. Like if you point it at them, you can go, okay, there's 2 people here. There's 1 guy over there. And you can also use it to kind of like scan, analyze evidence that you find as well. So they're really trying to kind of go for the kind of, the feeling that you are a cop and you're using your authority in the terms of a badge. Like the way the badge works. You show your badge and you're like, freeze, and
you respect my authority.
Yeah, you respect. And you kind of, show your badge and hopefully they drop their weapons. I don't actually know what the success rate is for if they just go, I don't care, and shoot you anyway.
What are you going to do? Use it as a ninja star?
But I just want to give, hold that thought, Steve. I just want to go through the game mechanics, or some of the main game mechanics. So obviously we said about there's a scanner that you can mark enemies. It's quite useful because there's a detect. It's like an alert meter detection type thing for the enemies. So the enemies don't kind of go, classic old school Metal Gear Solid kind of fashion where it's like, huh, what was that? And then they kind of go back and forget anything ever happened. In this, it's more a case of like, if they've seen you, they don't forget that. They go, well, I saw someone earlier. It's like, well, I saw that guy. I just don't know where he is anymore. So they might search around for a bit where they saw you. But then they'll go back to wherever their last position was. Say they're on an outlook of a balcony. They're kind of, they're stood in a balcony. They're looking out. They're kind of, that's their, their position. But they're still aware of you in the back of their mind. And they're like, if I'm going to be a bit more kind of on my feet now because I know there's someone here. There's other stuff like handcuffs. That's another piece of equipment. So if you show your badge, someone drops a weapon. You can then cuff them to kind of, stop them from picking up their gun again and shooting you, I guess. You're actually rewarded more for non-lethal approaches. So you get rewarded more if you shoot people, you won't do as well as if you kind of tase somebody or you knocked them out or you cuffed them. Non-lethal approaches kind of give you better rewards. They kind of reward you more for kind of the stealth and kind of not being as violent because you're a cop. So you kind of, if you're a cop who just goes around shooting everybody up, shoot first, ask questions later, then you're not going to do as well as somebody who is, sensible about things and just kind of tries to keep people alive rather than kill them. One important thing is you'd think, oh, well, this is a stealth game. Can I drag bodies? You can't drag bodies. You can't move them. So if you incapacitate somebody, you can't drag them out of plain view. That's the only one thing that they haven't actually got at the moment. Whether they'll add that, I don't know. Because you do kind of get this thing called expert points or something like that. With the more non-lethal kills that you do. But do you think that the one thing I do want to ask, most importantly, is with these kind of focus on stealth for the campaign and these gameplay mechanics being introduced, do you think it's going to feel less like a spin-off, like just a copy of this is Battlefield 4, just with different textures and different enemies and different setting? Do you think this kind of helps differentiate it in what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's Visceral that's doing it instead of DICE this time. So they've done the Dead Space games.
Dead Space, yeah.
So I feel like it is going to feel different, which is going to be good. I feel like from what I'm hearing, I'm not necessarily saying this is going to be true, but the single player might actually be worth playing more than the multiplayer. It might be one of those games, because I do like these sort of mechanics that they're talking about, and the fact that you can go, I really don't want to do it stealthily, so you know what, I just want to go in guns blazing because I can, and it will let you do that, which is quite cool. I like the way that they're trying to break away from the Battlefield franchise.
It does seem very much so for the multiplayer aspects. It's just going to be your classic kind of guns blazing, explosions flying everywhere. That's going to be, if you do like that kind of style of it, there's going to be, I can see two divides of people who prefer the kind of stealth kind of mechanics and they like that. They're going to stick to single player, and the people who have always liked those, Battlefield games with the demolition, the destruction, the heavy gunfire, all that kind of stuff. They're going to stick more to multiplayer. I can kind of see that happening. And it's good though, because it kind of caters to more than one audience. It's kind of got something, it's kind of, like a shoe that fits all sizes, really. That's the kind of only saying I can really think of that.
A shoe that fits all sizes. I like that metaphor.
But yeah, is there anything in particular that you, out of what's mentioned, maybe it's the taser that you'd love to tase some people, maybe you just want to go around and be like, respect my authority, and just show your badge to everybody. But is there anything that you guys really kind of like the sound of, and you think actually I think I'd have quite a lot of fun doing that?
I'm just aware that Stephen hasn't talked for a while, but I'm going to jump in again. So I
silence, Steve. You cannot speak.
Silence you. I completely forgot what I was going to say. I like the sort of fact that it can let you be stealthy, and I think that's a new not a new thing, but a different thing for first-person shooters in a Battlefield game, and I think that will make it will differentiate it. But I think that's going to be the main mechanic.
I
And
did
probably-
think that you would quite like when I heard about stealth. I thought, well, Andy likes his Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
So I thought that that might be something that would kind of take your fancy really.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the multiplayer is going to be the drawing point for it. But what about yourself, Steve? What are you feeling?
I think he's just going to say he loves to tase people, but yeah.
I like to taste people,
Hopefully in the game, not in real life. I just wanna-
but I will say when I played it at GTA,
when you played it at GTA.
when I played it at EGX, I didn't like it at all.
But that
really-
was the multiplayer, though.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is more like stealth. Kind
Yeah,
of,
But I actually read the article, and it does state in there that you have to learn about the character, and at one point, he does turn on the opposite side of the law because something actually does happen to him, and that is something I do like, because I always like to get to know a character.
Well, I kind of did think it in two ways. When I heard about stealth, I was like, well, Andy likes Metal Gear Solid, so he might quite like this concept. And then when I heard, there's a lot of focus more on the characters, I thought, well, Steve's saying about how he always likes the campaign in first-person shooters. This might be kind of for him because, he likes story-driven stuff in that genre of games. So I thought, well, if it's more about the characters and less about how many explosions are going on, I think that's probably... So would you say more that there's more focus on the characters and, they're trying to make it more about the story itself and what's going on?
I like a
That's-
story-driven game. I don't like things where you just see how many buildings you can blow up or put people through walls or windows. I like to know about the character and how they evolve through the game, and you get from start at the start and then get to the end and figure out how their character finished.
I would like to just add on to what Steve said there. That it's not all about the blowing up the buildings and being able to do all that. But however, if it lets you do that, and that's a valid playthrough of the game, then I think that's cool. So
as long as it doesn't turn into a Michael Bay movie where it's
but if it says
Like,
if it's just like, hey, you need to do these objectives, you need to go from X to Y and do something, you can either do it stealthily or you can just blow the fuck out of all the buildings.
Sorry. Steve is just a little
to get
grin on his
there,
face, but yeah.
Then that's cool. Whether they're actually going to allow you to do that is another question.
Sorry, Matt. I just had all these visions of these jets coming in.
Maybe we should add them in like CGI, just like me going. But yeah, one thing I am interested to know is obviously this stealth is definitely confirmed to be in the single player. But how would you feel if Visceral Games, they announced like, hey guys, we know you're really excited for the stealth stuff in the campaign. So we thought we'd introduce it to multiplayer and we'd make it a thing there. Would that kind of turn you off really? Or would that be something that you would...
A game mode, yeah. Not for the whole thing, because people will just be camping it out. Like, let's just crawl around the map.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, go on.
if you just had a game mode of like, I don't know, stealth or whatever you'd call it, just where you have to go and find a group of people and shoot the shit out of them when you do find them or arrest them or whatever, that'd be ideal, but not for the whole, outbound multiplayer.
Just go around tasing everybody.
See, now, I think it depends on how they implemented it. I'm just going to go back to Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Did either of you ever play Metal Gear Online?
I did. I used to hide in plenty of cardboard boxes.
But there was a game mode there.
I'm definitely not in here.
I actually
Yeah.
really like Metal Gear Online. Just on a side note, like that was really.
It's on a side note. It's coming back.
Oh, okay. Is
Metal
it how
Gear
similar
Online.
is it to what it used to be like?
They haven't really announced that, but
I just remember
it was just in the news this week.
I can't
What do
remember
these-
how old I was when that came out, but like I just remember kind of being like just a teenager, and I was like, oh my god, like the graphics are so realistic, and like I'm gonna like I got so into Metal Gear Online. It was
So-
just yeah.
What are these boxes like that you can get into then?
Well, I'm
It's a
assuming
car-
you've
it's a
never
cardboard
played
box.
like
No.
Metal Gear Solid games at all.
No, so can you actually crawl with
What
the
you
map-
do
with
is
the
you
box?
have like a box.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, on the online bit, it's just like there was boxes lined around the place. There was dumpsters as well, and you could like hide in like a dumpster, and if someone was sneaking past, you could like take them out, like if they walk close enough to you.
You could like pop out and just sort of trank them or shoot them.
Or you could do stuff like, it was very kind of like you had to be very methodical. You had to be very kind of like, careful. You couldn't just run around and go, shit everyone. You had to be very kind of careful.
But the one mode that it did have was like an asymmetric one. So you had the two teams, and then there was Snake as well. So there was one person in the whole map who was sort of sneaking around trying to take out the other two teams.
Yeah, you had like your kind of like your henchmen or minus drones, whatever you want to call them, just like running around, just shooting each other.
And they had to sort of use stealth and hide around the place and not be seen. And I thought that was quite a cool game mode. And if they sort of implemented something like that, where it was like there's one cop and there's like a couple of teams of robbers that need to do an objective, and the cop has to try and take them all out or something. That might be quite cool.
I know this is probably ripping from Rainbow Six Siege's idea of what was shown at E3, where you have like a hostage and they've got to like try and keep hold of the hostage, and the other team has to like try and be stealthy. Like if you play as the cops or whatever, or the SWAT teams or whoever you are, you have to try and be careful because you want to kind of save the hostage and protect her, but you don't want the criminals, whatever, to know where you are. So you want to try and kind of sneak in and then kind of make a big entrance and then try and... It wasn't as very stealthy, but the first like 10 minutes or so are very stealthy because they might hear you somewhere like running up the stairs, and then they might go check it out, and you kind of want to be careful because you don't want them to like... You don't want the hostage to get harmed, and you don't want to, compromise the situation or what have you. I think something with a hostage situation could be quite good.
There is going to be that. It's going to be so the online bit. There's going to be 4 game modes that have been confirmed. There's Heist, which is robbers try and get into a vault, and the cops have to stop them. There's Rescue, which is the cops have to try and rescue the hostages, and the bad guys are trying to stop them doing that. Then there's Hotwire, where this is a chasing down. The cops chase down the robbers at high speeds.
That's what we played at GTA.
You keep saying G2A.
GTA.
Like,
and then there's Blood Money, which is the one that was in the beta, where everyone tries to get a load of money, which doesn't make sense because why would cops be stealing money?
I think they're just trying to steal it back, really. Or no, the way it worked was you were trying to protect the money, so they didn't leave with it. But that was a while back. They had that mode, and maybe they've sorted some
might have
fixes.
changed it.
But overall, does this make you more or less excited for the game? Just having stealth, whether it just being single player, if they do introduce modes, just the idea of stealth in a Battlefield game, is that something that makes you think, oh, this is refreshing? Because for me, I've realised that for some of these questions, I haven't really kind of shared my opinion on it. I've just sort of kind of like throwing them at you guys. But in terms of making it more or less excited, this kind of stuff, it's good. I think I'm like kind of like finally is my reaction, because like I think I've said it before, and I think I said it when we were at EGX. Is just that I'm fed up of seeing so many first-person shooters that are like, oh well, the superpower of Russia are trying to blow up America, and America, you're a Marine soldier, and blah, blah, blah. And like that can be fun to a certain extent, but when you see it every year, just in different forms and different titles from different developers, it kind of gets a bit tiresome. And for me, it's like finally we're getting a first-person shooter, which is a AAA shooter, that is fresh, it's different, it's got a new concept to it, and it's trying to be something that it hasn't been before in the series. It's trying to be a cops versus robbers rather than just one superpower versus another. And for me, that's something that like makes me more excited for it. But what do you guys have to say sort of overall about it?
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, that I am actually starting to buy AAA or whatever games mainly for.
Oh, hang on, when are you always buying AAA games? Oh no, you're sorry. I thought you were just saying I'm starting to buy AAA games. It's like, hang on, Steve, you always buy AAA games.
So I'm starting just to buy AAA games and all that, any other game, really for the campaign now, because I am more of a person that is a story-driven person. I like to learn about a character and go all the way through. I'm not really interested about the Call of Duty series or anything like that for the multiplayer, just for the campaign, because I just
Although you've played a lot of Advanced Warfare multiplayer, just on a side note.
In the last 2 weeks, I have not, because I've been very, very busy. But I will admit, I have, because I wanted to base my review off of a review video, which is not happening now. But, yeah, I played a lot of multiplayer for that reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's making me excited about the game. It's making me more interested in it.
Yeah, that's what I sort of mean. Like, is it kind of put you off it, or does it make you more kind of like interested about it?
It's made me more interested about it simply because they're trying something a bit different with the actual whole series, and it's not going to be exactly the same as all of the other previous years. Although it looks like when the next one comes out, they're going to go back to sort of a modern military shooter. So
I have heard that Bad Company 3, for those who like Bad Company games like 1 and 2, that I think the Bad Company was originally just like a way for them to tech demo the Destruction stuff, because that was when the Destruction 2.0 whatever came into place and they had that stuff. But I did read an article, and it was something about that. It might have been quite an old article, but it's still relevant, I guess, if we're talking Battlefield, that they do want to make a Bad Company 3, because everyone keeps telling EA that their favourite multiplayer, like multiplayer wise, the favourite multiplayer they ever played was Bad Company 2, and that they just loved that game, and they want something like that again. But then DICE or EA, whoever, like basically the same thing, aren't they? Or are they just different? I don't know, they work together. Yeah. But they're just like, we don't know what we don't know what we're doing right. We don't know, we didn't know what we were doing right in this game. We don't know why people love those games so much.
It was a mistake.
So basically, they're like, we know we had this great game on our hands, but we didn't know what we did right in it. So if we did Bad Company 3, we wouldn't want to kind of screw it up, as it were. We kind of want to keep those things that people liked.
Bad Company 2, though, was the best.
I'd have to say I like the Vietnam kind of expansion for it. That was quite.
That was sick.
That was a standalone game. That wasn't an expansion.
It started off as a DLC, but then it was like a standalone DLC, basically, I believe. Like, I remember originally you had to have, like, Bad Company 2.
Yeah, you did, yeah, and then they made it standalone.
But it's a little bit like Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, which is the one where you play as Adewale and you have to, like, free the slaves or whatever, which is like a DLC from Black Flag, and then they made it a standalone thing. That's kind of like what Vietnam was. Like, it was never...
Are you sure? I thought Vietnam came before. Oh, well, whatever.
It was like Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam. Like, it wasn't Battlefield Vietnam. It was just, it had that slapped... yeah. But, and it wasn't the full price of a game, but, not to derail, but...
$9.99 it was.
But, it's a very good memory there. But yeah, so in terms of Black Friday, we think it could be. I think it's good that you're getting these great deals. You know, it's a good idea, but just kind of maybe keep it to online only and don't do it in stores, because look at what it's caused for both us and America. You know, lots of violence and other crazy chaos going down. But yeah, for Battlefield Hardline, overall, I'm getting the assumption that we're liking the fact that the stealth stuff's been introduced for single player, and that it's kind of piqued our interest a little bit more compared to before, where some people might have just said it's a Battlefield clone of like previous games.
Yeah, I am, however, calling bullshit though.
Okay.
Battlefield Vietnam came out in 2004. Bad Company came out in 2008.
Is that the original Battlefield Vietnam? Or...
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm talking about the Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam. There was
DLC.
Right, okay.
There was a DLC. That's the one.
Cross wires them.
Yeah, that's the one I'm sort of referring to. But yeah, so that's kind of our overall views of both of them. And if you bought anything for Black Friday in any of the deals, let us know. Be interested to know, and also let us know what country, because it'd be good to compare kind of if there's any differences, maybe price wise or attitude wise, or how big of a deal it is. But other than that, we will see you next week for episode 25. I also want to point out that the last episode we do before Christmas, I am trying to talk Steve into wearing a Santa outfit. In fact, I have a Santa onesie thing as well that Steve's seen. I think I showed it to him last year. So I might wear that as well if he wears that.
I gotta find it first. It's up in the attic somewhere.
So we'll try and make it a bit Christmas themed, and by doing that. But let us know in the comment section your thoughts, and we will see you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You guys are going to be low on my priority list for a while, so ciao.